And we just want to find out how you're feeling, where you're at, emotionally,
drained,
psychologically, where you're at, and also would Europa League glory? They're in the semi-final, so anything is possible. Would that kind of erase what's been a season of hurt?
Do you know what, Jules? As much as I have optimism, I don't think we're going to beat Man United. Are going to beat Atletico Bilbao. I don't. I think it's a difficult competition, and the way I feel right now about Manchester United, I love Rúben. I really do. I think that result against Lyon last week was incredible. Manchester United should never have been in that position, you know, for it to come. As soon as Lacazette scored that penalty, I thought it was game over. And I was actually on commentary for that game, and it was incredible. The atmosphere, Casemiro, Harry Maguire, I thought were exceptional. But it's not been a great season. And I've said this many, many times. Rúben Amorim is the right manager, just the wrong time. I wish he had the same budget Eric Ten Hag was given, because I believe in what he's saying, and I feel for him at times, because he's coming out in his press conferences and he's trying to kind of like, I think he does a really good job at kind of speaking, he's honest, but it's like, what more can he say? It just hasn't been good enough, and it can't come down to him. And I've said this, honestly, I sound like a stuck record, but like, the players individually are just not good enough. And you can have tactics, you can play different formations. When Ralf Rangnick came in, 4-1-1-1, 4-3-3, outside back, you know, like full backs. And it just hasn't worked. But the individuals just haven't been good enough. But in Europe, Manchester United are the only team in the world unbeaten.
Yeah.
So we'll take that right now. But I just think, you know, Højlund just hasn't been good enough. There's a lot of individuals that haven't been. But I'll tell you who has been, Bruno Fernandes. He's been unbelievable. And he never gets the praise and the accolades that he deserves. Because for me, if Manchester United didn't have Bruno Fernandes, I'm not saying they'd get relegated because of the teams this year. But previous years, Man United would have been way down there further than they are.
It's weird that Bruno Fernandes gets so much hate. I can't
only in
understand
England,
it.
though, I think. I don't know why. It must be United's kind of agenda against United. Because certainly in France, he gets highly praised for the performances that he put. I think he's just in one of those weird things from England.
Yeah. I think one of the big things that I was noticing, the stats at the bottom there while watching the Amorim interview, is the fact that Bournemouth have never finished above Manchester United, and they're 11 points better off than them. We know what happened the first time these two teams played. It's another case of where Manchester United are right now when you look at them compared to a Bournemouth side who are doing quite well right now.
Bournemouth amazing, best season ever in the Premier League. Really, they're going to beat their best tally. They're already equal it anyway, so they're going to get above that. They won 3-0 out of Trafford in a game where they were by far the better team at the time. And that's the thing with Amorim, though. I agree with Ian in the sense that I think he's really good and he will succeed eventually. But so far, it's 6 wins in 6 months in the Premier League, and this is just not good enough. The team has regressed more than progressed since he took over, and I didn't expect that. I didn't expect them to go and suddenly with him fight for the title, but I didn't expect them to be so low in the table. He just didn't have much time or not enough time to work with his players because they played every 3 days pretty much since the day he arrived because of Europe. But it's still disappointing in where they are now. And even if they save it with the Europa League, I still think that to be in that position in the league is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that they could go the entire month of April without a victory, because the last win came in March in the Premier League. I want to look forward now, because we did show the Wolves game, and one of the Wolves players is quite heavily linked with Manchester United, and Matheus Cunha. That would be a fantastic buy for them if they could pull it off. What do you think about it? Do you think he'd fit in? And who else do you think Manchester United... How many players do you think they need to get in?
No doubt Cunha's a good player, but does it fill me with excitement of like the greatest signing ever? No. But it is a step up from Højlund. Xerxes done a relatively good job since he's come in, but I think Cunha is a step up. But let's be honest, he's had one good season in the Premier League, and I think Manchester United, are getting carried away in this moment. I think people do think he's been strongly linked, 62 mil, Jules, along those lines. So I would take Cunha, because I think he is a step up. But at the same time, like I said, you're asking me who I want, I'd have Ollie Watkins all day long. What do you think, Jules?
Yeah, he's a much younger player he's 5 years younger than Ollie Watkins, for example. Different profile, because he's not a number 9, he's more of a second striker. He will play, I think, in one of the two inside 10s positions behind whoever is a striker at United, which, by the way, they need one too. So it's okay if you spend the money on Cunha, but you need to make sure you've got enough money to go and get a proper number 9 to replace Højlund, Xerxes, Rashford, whoever you want there. And then I think 62 is too much for him. I agree with Leon. If you can get him for less than that, and his agent is also Rúben Amorim's agent, so you should be able to maybe find a way somewhere, because the guy is also makes the decision at Wolves. So he's got everything. It's all there to maybe get that fee a bit lower. And then I think at 40 million, for example, yeah, you sign him, of course, because he's better than what you have already in those positions.
Leanne, if I give you 3 players, I say you're definitely getting 3 players. You don't have to tell me which players and you don't have to give me names. You just have to tell me which areas, which positions would you think are priority for Manchester United for next season?
I choose 8 players. Priority.
We don't have the whole. We don't have the whole hour.
Priority, 100%. Someone that can put the ball in the back of the net. I think another centre back, definitely, and I think midfield area. I like what Casemiro's done of late. I think he's been brilliant. But I think the Manchester United midfield and overall squad, I think Manchester United need a complete overhaul, completely. So if you're asking me for 3, honestly, Jules, I could pick way more because positionally, we have not been, Manchester United haven't been good enough. And I think everybody can see that.
Who stays besides Bruno?
Xerxes, potentially. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but like you look at the back line, I think Harry Maguire's done well of late. But other than that, like who stays? Oh, Kobbie Mainoo, Amad Diallo. But other than that...
Garnacho, but the problem with Mainoo, Garnacho, they've got the highest value though. So if United don't have the money to buy the players they want, they will have to sell those high value players, unfortunately, and reinvest that money.
Only about 4 players, I think, are of the standard to get Manchester United back to where they need to be overall.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to petition for an hour at the end of the season.
Please
so
do.
That you can talk about everyone you'd like
just
to
let it go.
You've got enough tissues to wipe my
therapy. Just it stays between us.
OK, so legendary title winner, Jamie.
Is there any positive updates on Amad? And is Diogo okay? People noticed he wasn't in training the other day.
No, Diogo Dalot is out. We don't know how long he's going to be out. But he's out for these games, next games. We'll see until the end. Amad is near, Mata is near, but the rest is at the same pace. Aiden is not ready, so I think that's it.
With Diogo, what's happening? Do you think there's a chance he could miss the rest of the season?
There is that possibility, but I don't know. We'll check week by week because he works really hard. He can recover quite well. We'll see.
Are you able to say at all what he's actually done?
He has something in his muscle, in his calf. He had a sequence of games that he played all the time. We try to manage, but some of the players have to play a lot of minutes, and we have to protect that ones that we think that they are not so ready to cope with that. But Dalot felt something.
You've said all along this, while you've been here, you've been learning. We all know that the most important games now are the 2 games against Bilbao. So what will you learn from Bournemouth away?
So the focus is that we have to face it, and that we need to have that feeling that every game here is important, and we have to win every game, because that is a feeling that is really important not to lose. But of course you can see the context. But I think we are going to face this game with the best team, because we had a full week to prepare. Some of the players didn't play against Wolverhampton, so sometimes if you recover so much the players is a bad thing. So we'll try to manage everything to win this game and to prepare the next one.
The window's nearly here. Do you know now the players that you want or would like to keep and the players that you would like to leave?
Yeah, you can say, I could say that, of course, this is a conversation for the end of the week, but I have an idea that is clear, because we have to do things early, but things can change until the end of the season.
Matheus Cunha's name is repeatedly mentioned. Is that the sort of player that you're looking to attract?
I will not say nothing about Matheus, because if I say one time, I will have to say for any situation that is yes or no. So I will not comment about that. We are focused on this season. We have even the way we are going to prepare the next season could change in these games. So it's hard to predict what is going to happen in the future.
Are you finding it as easy to attract players as you thought you would? Because you may not have Champions League football, your league position doesn't look good. So how big an attraction are you?
It's Manchester United. What I feel is that there's a lot of players that want to play for for our club. And I know that if you look at our club in the moment, it looks like sometimes with all the problems with the staff or people going, changing coach, the results looks like a little bit a problem in the moment, but we have a clear idea, and that is the easiest part to explain to a player. And then is Manchester United. Everybody wants to play for Manchester United.
Rúben, you hinted a moment ago there that your mind is made up on certain people with regards to what happens next in the future. Have they still got time in these remaining games to change your mind?
Everything can happen. I think Casemiro is the best example. He was a player that he wasn't playing, and then you see the last games he's having a part, and he's performing quite well, and he's playing all the time. So I'm not that kind of coach that don't change. I like to change my mind. If they change my mind, I'm really happy with that. I just want to win and to put the best players in our team.
Obviously, you faced Bournemouth already. When you look at the challenge this weekend, considering the matches you've got coming against Athletic Club as well, how big a challenge is this for the team to get through on Sunday?
It's massive, because it's one team that presses a lot. He has something to fight for in this moment with the European nights, and we know the quality of the squad, the quality of the manager, the way they play, the way they press, the one against one that they have, the mobility of Evan Nilsson, Kluivert, Semenyo. So it's going to be a really tough match, and we have to be really focused on this game, because here every game is really important, and we need to win games in Premier League. But of course, in certain details, we have to focus not just in this game, but also in the next one.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to ask you about the focus of the players in the Premier League, because where the position you find yourself, you still have a chance to finish in the top half of the table. But how do you keep the players distracted away from the two big games in Europe?
I think it's just I don't talk about Bilbao during the week. I just focus on Bournemouth, and then, like I said, the way they perform against Bournemouth can change my mind for the next game. So they are fighting for a place in the next match. And if you look our table in the last game, I think we were a better team. We had create some situation to score a goal. Was tough to deal with that loss. So we need to win. That's all.
How's Rasmus Højlund's confidence been over the past week, and is that a challenge in itself, trying to manage a player's confidence when he's going to expect to be starting games, but he's obviously not had the goals recently? Yeah,
a striker, we will talk about this one a lot of times. A striker needs to score goals. We try to help him. He's trying really hard. And sometimes you want some things really bad, and this is worst. But I show him in all the team. He's so much better in connection. In one against one, he create one situations against Wolverhampton that he is improving in the small things, and he needs to focus on that. The goal will appear. So we try to explain how to improve.
Mike.
With Marcus Rashford and the way he's playing, but when his loan runs out, do you expect him back here for pre-season?
All the players that are on loan, they will return, and then the club will decide what to do in the end of the season.
Are you pleased with what?
Yeah, of course. The talent of Rashford, the talent, even the Andoni, all these players, they have talent, and they have to put that on the team. So we are really happy, because if you put one player on loan, the best thing for us is for them to perform, and they are performing.
Hi, Rúben. The Europa League obviously is your priority now. You've said that publicly, and you've said that you play the kids at the weekend, the young players at the weekend. That suggests that it doesn't matter to you where you finish in the league. Is that the case? Because you're obviously safe from relegation. You can't get into Europe in the league. Does it matter where you finish?
No, it matters a lot. What I'm saying is that with our current squad, you have to take a risk and to choose a priority. It's impossible. I want to put the best players, not the best players, the best starting 11 in every game. And sometimes it's so hard for me to take a risk in the Premier League, because sometimes the games in Premier League are tougher than Europa League. But in this moment, we have to make choices. And I also want to protect the young players. I don't want to put like everybody together in the same game that in a way that they cannot perform. I just trying to choose the best thing to help the club. The most important thing is the club in this moment, and I'm trying to cope with everything.
Last question in this section, Rob.
You've probably been more critical of your own performance than anyone else, probably anyone else in this room. But do you think that when the owners come to sort of evaluate the next season and what they want to do over the summer, that they'll be sympathetic to the issues that you've had to face? 'Cause I think everyone can see those, but you've not really wanted to kind of, make them excuses.
I think is the best is that conversation connecting with that feeling of we have to win every game, and every game is important. So we have to put our standards, even without winning, we have to put them really, really, really high. And I feel every day that the board understand the context and especially understand what we want to do, and that our idea is really clear. I'm critical because we are not winning games. Like everybody can understand that we are Manchester United and we are near the bottom of the table. So we need to be critical, no matter what happened. No matter if we lost one game in one free kick and we missed some goals that inside of the small box. That doesn't matter in the end, and that is the feeling that I want. That feeling inside Carrington.
Aiming to become the 6th different team to complete the double over Manchester United this season, Bournemouth host the Red Devils at the Vitality Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Andoni Iraola's men are still fighting for European nights next season, whereas Rúben Amorim's squad could be forgiven for taking their foot off the pedal in the Premier League amid their pursuit of Europa League glory. From the highs of an extraordinary Europa League comeback against Lyon to the lows of another Premier League home defeat, this time to fellow bottom-half battlers Wolverhampton Wanderers, Manchester United fans, players and coaches experienced the fullest range of emotions possible last week. As Amorim's attackers floundered once again, Wolves' Pablo Sarabia produced a moment of mastery with a sublime free kick to settle the scores at the Theatre of Dreams, condemning Man United to a second straight Premier League loss and 4th consecutive match without victory in the competition. At the very least, Man United cannot be mathematically relegated as they remain in the lower echelons of the Premier League table with an embarrassing 15 losses on their record. Not since the 1989-90 campaign have they been beaten in more top-flight contests. However, what happens in the Premier League between now and the end of May will prove largely inconsequential if Man United go all the way in the Europa League. Amorim's team head to the Basque Country for the first leg of their semi-final with Athletic Bilbao on Thursday. Before continental thoughts take precedence once again, Man United endeavour to avoid a sequence that they have not suffered since the pre-COVID days of 2019, a 5-game winless run in the Premier League, which both Ralf Rangnick and Erik ten Hag managed to avoid. Sharing Man United's 0-goal fate last weekend, Bournemouth could not make the most of 3 highly contentious decisions going their way against Crystal Palace, where both Tyler Adams and Alex Scott avoided second yellows either side of Chris Richards not being so lucky. Despite playing with an extra man for the entire second half, the Cherries could not pick off the depleted Eagles as their already slim top 7 hopes suffered another setback, one which leaves them 8 points below Aston Villa having played a game fewer. However, Bournemouth's 8th-placed position could still suffice for a Conference League spot depending on the outcome of the FA Cup, although a measly record of just 1 victory from their last 7 in all tournaments is hardly European-worthy form. Nevertheless, last weekend's draw at Selhurst Park saw Bournemouth amass a club record 49 points for the Premier League season, and the Cherries could also now record 3 straight clean sheets in the competition for the first time since November 2019. The omens are particularly promising in that regard. The last time Bournemouth kept 3 successive Premier League clean sheets, the third came in a 1-0 win over none other than Man United, who were humbled 3-0 at home yet again by Iraola's European hopefuls during a dreadful December.